I once heard something interesting years ago that has stayed with me ever since. When something bad happens, don't automatically assume it's going to be a bad outcome. At the time, I didn't really understand what that meant. Hi, my name is Emma, an international student in her 20s who came to Sydney 3 years ago and still trying to figure out my life. When I first came to Sydney, every setback felt huge. A few years ago, I worked at a cafe. For the last few months I was there, I cried almost every single shift. I would come home questioning myself, questioning my ability, wondering whether I was good enough, whether I was doing anything right. But looking back now, I don't regret working there at all, because after I left, I started noticing all the things that came from that experience. One of my coworkers referred me to my next job at a restaurant. That job turned out to be a much better environment. The people were supportive, the boss was kind, and for the first time in a while, I actually enjoyed going to work. I met friends through that cafe too. Some of the friends eventually became my housemates. And even though I struggled while I was there, I learned so much about Sydney and the people who live here. I learned about the coffee culture in Sydney, that it isn't really about coffee. It's about connection. It's about remembering someone's order, asking how their week has been, hearing little updates about their life, and slowly turning strangers into familiar faces. At the time, I couldn't see any of that. All I could see was how difficult things felt. But sometimes, we're too close to an experience to understand why it's happening. I didn't stay at that cafe forever, but I was supposed to go through it, because if I had skipped that chapter completely, I wouldn't have met those people, I wouldn't have gotten the next job, and I wouldn't have learned those lessons, and I probably wouldn't be the same person I am today. One of my favorite movie, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man Tell No Tales, there's a line where Henry Turner talk about Karina Smith. He said, "You don't need to understand her, you just need to trust her." And honestly, I think that's how I feel about life sometimes. We're always trying to understand everything while we're still in the middle of it. We want answer immediately, we want proof that everything will work out, but maybe some things aren't meant to make sense right away. Maybe some things only make sense when we look back years later, because looking back, the things I once saw as setbacks were quietly leading me exactly where I need to be. Maybe everything happens for a reason, or maybe we only find the reason years later. Either way, sometimes the best thing we can do is trust the process and keep moving forward. If you're watching this video, this is your reminder that not every chapter is meant to make sense while you're living in it. Keep going. You might not understand it right now, but one day you'll look back and suddenly it'll make sense.